Thank you, Larry, so much. That was so graceful and humbling. It's a great honor to be here, and thank you to the Shadid family and to the board and everyone involved with this honor. It's especially humbling because of the connection to Anthony, who I knew as a colleague and a friend for many years, and who was an inspiration, as you've already heard, to so many people in our field. And I thought I would just take my 1 minute to talk about why Anthony was such a powerful hero, really, for my generation of journalists. I met him in 2002. I was the managing editor of the Washington Post, and he was considering joining us to go to the Middle East, to Iraq. And he came into my office, and I asked that typical editor's question, why do you want to do this? And I've never heard an answer like it in my whole career. He said, I grew up in Oklahoma. This is a decade of crisis in the Arab world. I'm an Arab American, and I want to go out and chronicle it from the ground up. I promise you I will never quote a government official. I'm going to just talk to people in cafes and bakeries and libraries and bookstores, and that was his methodology. He modeled a former correspondence in the middle of the war in Baghdad during the bombing. He was in middle-class homes talking over dinner with families that were unconnected to any of the decision-making, but now reckoning with its consequences. And from there, he traveled everywhere. I was privileged to come out to Iraq and travel around with him to Najaf. And one time in Baghdad, there was a routine bombing as the insurgency started. We went to the scene. And then we went, on deadline, typical kind of newspaper reporting to a hospital. And there was Anthony leaning, at the bedside of the victims, just interviewing the injured about what they had seen, what they felt, capturing their voices. I've never seen a day reporter take so much care and time to listen to people who would otherwise be marginalized by that kind of violence. So he was really something extraordinary, and I've always read and thought about his work as I've fashioned my own. These days, I was reflecting on this on the last week. There's a part of me that's a little bit happy that Anthony isn't here to see what a mess we've made of his world and our world. But there's much more of me that just misses his voice. I know when I think about what he would have written about the United States last year and this year, if you just read his paragraphs, his sentences, the kinds of voices he captures, he would have enlightened us, he would have quieted us, and I think he would have restored some part of our political soul. I miss him, and it's a great honor to be associated with him through this award. Thank you very much.